Hey guys, it is me, SupyoGray, and today we're actually going to be doing something new. We're actually going to be listening to one of my dreams that I had. I'm going to be telling the story and everything, and in the background we'll have Call of Duty playing. But I did write it down. This is from a year or so ago, but it gets quite crazy. Okay, so here's some need to information about this before we start. So, in the dream, there is my brother, Kiki. And then there is the forest. If you guys never played the forest, I have some gameplay of it. You guys see some mutants and everything, but I'll also try to have some pictures of it with whatever I'm talking about so that you guys can see it or the sounds. And then there's also Horizon Zero Dawn. I do believe I have uploaded some videos of Horizon Zero Dawn, but that is also crucial for this stream. So let's go ahead and get it started. It was my first day at school, and I was trying to find where my classes were so that I could get there on time. I was looking on my schedule to see what building they were in, and my first class was in the C building. My second class was a couple of hallways past my first class. So when it was time for my second class, I walked to the room and looked at my schedule to make sure I was at the right classroom. My schedule said I was supposed to be in 54-108, and the teacher was Kiki G. So I went to the classroom, and Kiki was the teacher. And I walked over to Kiki and he's like, "You're not in my class." I was like, "My schedule says I am." And so Kiki checked his teacher roster and it said that I wasn't a part of the class. And I was like, "I swear it just told me that I was in this class." And so I checked my schedule again and it told me my new teacher. And so I was like, "Okay, it's across the hall from Kiki in 54-104." And the teacher was Mr. Roger, an accounting teacher that I had at GCU. When I walked in, he was standing at the front of the class, and he didn't say anything, so I just sat in the back of the room. Except there weren't any single desks. The desks in this classroom were long dinner tables. So I sat at the head of a table, and I had a guy to my left named Ricky, and a guy to my right named Billy, and a cute girl named Natalie in front of Ricky. That entire time when I was there, she was flirting with me. I mean, like, who can't? But anyways, they were all sitting in the corners of the table, and I was at the head. Billy offered me some Smarties, and I said no, but he wouldn't take no for an answer, so I ate some. Then Mr. Rogers slowly looked at us and said, "What are you eating?" And Billy responded with Smarties. Mr. Roger also had a no eating policy. And so he was like, "Well, can you stop eating Smarties and pay attention?" Without reaction, I said, "Well, maybe if your lectures weren't putting us to sleep, we can pay attention." And the entire class oohed and laughed and everything. But Mr. Roger didn't let that get to him, so he just continued teaching. And everyone in the class knew me as the class clown, except I wasn't purposely trying to be the class clown. I started to get bored, and then I remembered I had some peppermints in my bag. So I grabbed one, put it in my mouth, and I offered some to Ricky. And Ricky, he raised his hand and told Mr. Roger that I was still eating. And so Mr. Roger was like, "Why are you trying to give him peppermints in class?" And I said, "Because his class is boring still, and the peppermints keep me awake." And then he looked at me mad, and I realized that what I said was pretty harsh. So I was like, "I didn't mean it like that." And he was like, "You know what, fine. Since it's boring, how about we play a game?" And I'm not one to turn down a game, so I said, "Let's do it." So then Mr. Roger took us inside the room next doors to ours to play the game. The game that Mr. Rogers wanted to play was pretty boring. So I said, "Well, I have a fun game for us to play." So I walked in front of the class where there was a window behind me that showed the gym, and I started explaining the game. The game was a memory game. There were two teams, and one person would say a color, and then the second team has to say that color and another one that has not been named. And it would keep going back and forth until someone messes up the order of the colors. We were about to start, but then I heard a noise behind me. So I turned around, and I start looking out of the window, and all we see is just a whole bunch of people just walking normally in the bleachers. But the sound that I heard was the baby mutant. So I was waiting to see what was going to happen. All of a sudden, we see a little baby mutant jump onto someone's face and start hurting them. Everyone that was in the gym looks at it and then they start to panic and scream and then they start running. But I personally know about the forest outbreak and the history of the game. So it wasn't really a big deal, but I also didn't want to be at that school. So I ran outside of the classrooms and I started running down the hallway to get to the stairs. And I knew for some reason that the stairs was the way out and it was up. But as soon as I got to the stairs, everything went pitch black and I couldn't see. But then after a couple of seconds, my eyes adjusted and I was able to see. I was going up the stairs, but during the time of me not being able to see, I got instantly transported to a house and I was standing on their stairs trying to go up. The thing is, I don't know whose house it is, and I didn't want to stick around and find out. Because it could have been a regular human's house, or it could have been a cannibal's. So I tried to be quiet going up the stairs, but the floorboards, they were so old that they made the creaking sound. And so I realized that with that house, it didn't seem like going up was the way out. And so I went down, and I went down the hallway, and I found another staircase. And I hear someone quickly like coming towards me. And so I'm like, I need to hide. So I ran up the stairs and I see a closet. So I go and I hide in it. Except this closet didn't have a door. It just had like a hanging sheet over it. And there's a tiny room in the back of the closet, but it was dark. I peeked out from the sheet a little and see this guy running towards the closet. So I quickly go in between the black tiny room and the closet as he opens up the sheet and walks barely in to hide. But I was fast enough to where he didn't see me. Then we both hear these baby mutants jump in front of the closet and start to fight one another to the death for some reason. After one of the baby mutants wins, a human walks out from behind me and walks to the sheet hanging. And he is about to step outside, but then for some reason he decides to retreat and walk back into the dark, tiny room. All of a sudden, I started fast forwarding through the events that were about to happen. As I was fast forwarding, it went to dark, but then it went back to daylight, and I could see myself fighting a mutant, but I wanted to know what happened to the first guy that was in the closet with me. So I rewinded everything and went back to when we were in the closet. I found out that what happened was a mutant, like a squid, was in the closet with us, but it killed him because it didn't see me. So when it grabbed him, I ran out. But when I ran out from the sheet, it transported me again to this open field with a farm. And all of a sudden, I also had a bow with arrows and some traps, like in Horizon Zero Dawn. I kept running past a bunch of cannibals and regular mutants, but then I saw this other mutant that was made of tires, and the tires had spikes on them. And so the mutant saw me and he started throwing the tires at me, trying to hit me, but I kept on dodging them. And then I started shooting at it, and while I was running, I see a stone wall, and so I go to jump over it. And I knew that the mutant was following me, and so he jumped over it too. But little did it know, I had an electrical trap waiting on the other side. And so when it landed onto the trap. The trap went off, but it didn't kill him, so I started to shoot the tires with my bow and arrows, but he still wasn't dying. And I knew I couldn't kill him, so I figured I might as well just lose him. So I ran as far as I could, and when I started to get tired, I took an energy bar, and it boosted me so I could keep on running. After a little while, I arrived to this strange place. It was a huge river that had construction in it, and around it as well. But on the other side of the river, there were these bulls that had been known for killing people. So I decided I would be better off with the bulls than the mutants. So I started climbing up on construction pieces and headed towards the other side. But then I realized there wasn't enough construction pieces to get me over there. So I had to turn back, and when I turned back, the water decided that it wanted to make it a harder challenge. So it started rising, and the current was stronger, to where if I went in, I would get swept away. When I looked at the way that I first came from the construction pieces, they weren't there anymore, and so I had to find a new way to get back. And I saw this ladder that I could get onto, so I ran and I jumped onto the ladder and I climbed up it. But on top of the ladder there is a slide, so I slid down, but at the end of the slide I had to jump on these wooden planks that were a little bit underneath the water, but they held their place. I kept jumping on one wooden plank to another to get to the other side, but before I got to the other side, these cannibals heard me, so they came to check it out. But I decided to be smart about it and I hid underneath the water, but I was also holding on to the plank so I don't float away. I also realized that I had 100% stealth armor on, so they didn't see me. When I figured it was clear, I got up and I ran to the shore. The shore side was like a jungle, but even then a cannibal heard me and started running towards where I was. But I was quick enough to hide in the tall grass so he couldn't see me. He stopped right next to where I was hiding and looked around, but he didn't notice me. Once he left, I got up and started running the opposite way. As I was running, everything started fast forwarding again. Once it stopped, I was at a stone ruined building. My brother was there with me, and we saw a door on top of the stairs. So we both agreed to try to reach it. And as we went to walk towards it, there were these two cannibals, and they saw us. But they decided not to do anything. They did speak English, and they said that they were going to leave us alone. So we're like, okay. And we continued towards the stone stairs. And when we got to the bottom of them, these two other cannibals came up to us. And we could understand them, and we could understand also that one of them wanted to kill me, but the other one told him to leave me alone. But the one really did want to kill me, so they started arguing. And I looked at my brother, and at that moment I knew that I wasn't going to make it out alive. So I figured I might as well not keep him down with me. So I decided to distract the cannibals and let my brother go up. And so when he went up the stairs and went through the door, I woke up. So guys, I do hope that you did enjoy my dream. I do know that majority of my dreams, they do get pretty crazy. They are pretty long, and I am able to tell them with a good detail as well. So if you guys do want to hear more dreams, let me know. This may be a new series that I'm starting up. I will do it as often as I have those dreams, which they're random. It could be every night, it could be once a month or whatever. I do have a couple of other dreams saved on my phone so that I can tell. There is one about a car accident. There is one about Halloween. So I have some stuff. So if you guys do want to listen to these and stuff, just let me know. We could start it up. And I do hope that you guys did enjoy this video. Please do leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. As always, please do stay safe out there, guys, and peace out.